Alright, today I'm going to be talking about the tire machine I got. It's a Mayflower, I think 560. And I've had this machine for about two and a half years. And, I run a tire shop. I get the balancer, we do all kinds of tires, so I've done a lot. I've done probably 500 or more tires on this machine, and you can tell it's not made for commercial use. This thing was, I think, made for somebody that barely changes tires. Maybe they got, they just want a tire machine at home. This was not made for a commercial tire shop at all. But let's start with this. I paid roughly $1,500 for this machine from eBay, and then I had to pay an extra $200 for them to use their lift gate, which was stupid, but I didn't have any way to unload it from their semi. And there was an air hose that used to go right here with a little hose, and it hung up on this hook, but that got broken. That was a cheap one. So I thought about putting a nicer air chuck on there with a better hose, and I never got time to do it. But I've got a coupler on there right now for that spot in case I want to plug another air hose. So I've got that option. And you can tell, this thing's starting to get pretty dented in. There's always pieces of metal coming out of there. Piece of this actually got broken off because this machine, I just bought a brand new tire machine. I bought a Snap-on one. I'll be doing a video on that because this one, we do all size tires. I mean, I do a lot of semi tires, but I do them by hand, whereas like 35s and 37s and all that, they won't fit on this machine. I mean, I can clamp the bigger rims from the inside. On their site, it says it'll clamp, I think it was 14-inch rims to 21-inch rims from the inside, which I've done 22s on here, clamped from the inside. So 22s will fit on this. Clamp it from the outside, it only does up to 18-inch wheels. And then I just always keep the plastic protectors on there, because why not? This thing, because we do a lot of farm tires too, like implements and 11L15s, 9515s, 31 1250 15s, all the different implement tires. I'll do them on this. And so this turntable it gets beat up every day. Rims getting thrown on it, pieces of rust, water splashing all over it, fix-a-flat, everything else. And over time, these have been starting to get stuck more, which all I do is I just use PV Blaster, and I'll just put a few squirts in there. I'll open it, close it a few times, just let it soak in there. Same with the spring. I try to keep this somewhat lubricated. And I've had to adjust this in here. The cap that went over this broke. That thing was junk. Because you'd go to clamp it, and it'd be like too loose. Like you'd just like flip it over, and then flip it back like nothing. So every once in a while I gotta go in here and tighten these nuts to apply more pressure so this isn't moving around. But look at this. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this thing's starting to get a lot of play up here. And I've tried tightening that nut, and I got it to be, you know, somewhat stiffer at one point, but it just loosened up again on me. The one day, this cap, all that's up here is just an Allen screw that holds that on. I don't know what happened, if it was just all the jumbling around from doing tires and just never looking at it. This screw had come loose and it was just barely up there. And I went to spray this down, I was wiping the spring off. This thing blew off at, you know, the old place I was doing tires at. That spring went flying. This thing slammed down, scared the shit out of me. I don't even really keep the protector in here anymore. I've never scratched a rim with this before. That's one thing I can say. I've never scratched a rim with this tire machine. Because there's another protector. It goes right here. I've never replaced that. It's just kind of always stayed there. This one, it would always fly out. Like, I'd be doing a tire and this thing would just, it would fall down in the tire. I'd have to take it back apart, get it back out. But, no, just leaving it off has been the best bet for me. Even this thing was loosening up on me for a while. I got her stuck on there now. The bead breaker. That thing, it works good, but like I said, we do bigger tires, so I can't, you know, some of them wide tires, I can't even fit in here to break the bead. Which thankfully we got other tools for that. I haven't had any problems with any of the pedals. Them are still good. But the biggest tire I found that I can do on this was a 33 1250 20. That was the biggest tire I could, and it took some finessing. Like I said, that's how we broke this part. Because I had the rim up here. I was trying to shove it underneath this fucking corner right here. They kept hitting on there, so I was like using a bar and shit to, yeah. Now I noticed it sucks oil like crazy. And it's always leaking. Ever since I've had it, it's been leaking around this whole canister. So I've always got like a puddle and shit down here. And it's like, yeah, it's all over the place. And then this, actually sitting down here, this was a bucket that these two things like went in them holes, and it would hold like the tire lube right there. But some of them big tires, they would be pushing up against it, and they'd send this thing flying. So I don't even use this. I got the tub that came with the snap-on machine up here. Then the motor is not too strong either. Like, on a lot of machines, like a 10-16-5 skid steer tire, this thing won't turn it. Or like if I'm doing like a 12 or a 14 ply 11L15, this thing won't turn it either. It'll just stop. And then, you know, the clamps aren't adjustable. If they were, I could do a lot more different kinds of sizes on this. I seen there was an adapter kit that'll go smaller for like doing 6-inch lawnmower tires. That'd be nice. So I'm thinking about getting a kit for this machine. And this will be nice for lawnmower tires and ATVs and all that. Then I'll still use my new snap-on machine for like the bigger stuff. Because it still works. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm trying to think of what else. But yeah, I do tires on this every single day. I don't put as much oil in this as I should. But I had it outside for a few months too when I first got it. And, you know, obviously in the cold, it's going to run a little bit slower just because it's colder out, so you got ice building up and shit. But it's a good machine. It's not great. I'm trying to think of what else this machine even came with. I just keep, you know, a magnet tray up here with my quick air. You know, if I got a tire that the bead won't take, I can stick that on there, roll it around and whatnot. And I just got a core remover tool up here. That air valve, I always keep it at max air. So, you know, I want full bore, you know. None of that half-ass shit. But if you're somebody that you just do a few tires a year and it's just for you and your friends and family, this machine is perfect for you. It'll do that. If you're running a tire shop, I'd almost recommend just getting a nice machine from the get-go. This was a nice starter, but I had to do a lot of tires by hand just because they either wouldn't fit on here or I really didn't want to scratch them. Because when I bought this machine, I thought about getting the Mayflower balancer too, but I didn't want to cheap out on accuracy when it came to balancing. So I did get the snap-on balancer, and that thing's amazing. I'll do another video on that someday. I've had that one almost as long as this one. And that one does, you know, I bought all the different cone adapters, and I want to get the adapters for motorcycle tires for it. That's, when I save up some more money, I'll get that, but that one will do like 26s and 24s and 28s and shit. Actually, I think it does 30-inch rims too. We'll do a video on that one. And I did have to change the air fitting when I got this too, because it had some Chinese shit on there, so I took that off. And then it sprays out shitloads. Whenever it gets full in this tank, it'll just start spraying it all over the machine, which I don't like because the oil's fucking leaking too, so it's just like spraying shit all over. And it's been doing that ever since I bought this machine. I've tried taking it apart, and I put new O-rings in there. It leaks too, really bad, like air-wise. Up here, whatever this thing is, air is just pissing out of that thing. But that's my quick, basic review on this machine. Like I said, if you're just a home person, you know, you just do tires for yourself, it's a good machine. It'll probably last longer for you than it will me. And then I'll probably be doing a review on that soon. And then that new machine. But that's all. I'll see yous.